Behavioral therapy. In regards to reinforcement, punishment, and other aspects of behavioral therapy. This is another posting by Article Motion. My focus is going to be on conditioning reinforcement. And this put me into the mind of B.F. Skinner, 1904 to 1990. Whenever time my mind focus on behavioral conditioning, I immediately think of B.F. Skinner. He said behavior in all aspects are learned and therefore can be unlearned. In the following slide, you will be provided with some aspect of behavioral conditioning, one of which positive reinforcement. A stimulus that is rewarded preceding a desired behavior. An example would be a child given a candy after good behavior or receiving a nice paycheck after a full week working. And if you see, I put a picture there and it said, "Good job." And, you could have several examples of positive reinforcement. Negative reinforcement. An example of negative reinforcement: perform an action to stop an undesired feeling or unwelcome experience. An example would be a person exercising and changing his or her diet to decrease the weight gain that is causing a problem. Another would be taking pain medication to decrease pain. And another one would be positive punishment. This example of operant condition is like the opposite of positive reinforcement. Instead of rewarding someone for a job well done, you take away the reward or provide a negative reward for undesirable behavior in order to decrease the negative behavior. An example is receiving a speeding ticket for speeding. You can drive, but you have to learn to obey the road code. Another would be negative punishment. A stimulus presented that intended to decrease a behavior after the occurrence of the unwelcome behavior. For instance, Tamiya's driver's license is taken away due to several unpaid speeding tickets and a DWI. And see what Tamiya resorted to? Riding a horse to and from work or wherever she needs to go. Another would be continuous reinforcement. Continuous reinforcement is characterized by a reward that is given after every response that are successful. And for instance, a dog is learning to fetch the ball, and each time the dog fetches the ball, the dog receives a bone. Upward conditioning to reinforce or prevent a behavior. And you see, another would be intermittent reinforcement. Intermittent reinforcement is unlike continuous reinforcement, meaning with continuous reinforcement, a dog is rewarded after every successful response. However, with intermittent reinforcement, the dog is rewarded after every 5 successful response or when he catches the ball. Look at this picture. Survival is the fittest of the fittest men. The dog has to work harder because this time he has to catch the ball every 5 times. Now another, shaping. A type of reinforcement in the era of behaviorism and is characterized by successful approximation, leading to a desired behavior or outcome. For instance, new recruits taught basic training skills to become soldiers. Oh boy, memories, memories, memories. So that's an example of shaping. There are others, I'm sure, examples out there. The other is extinction. Extinction, for instance, a child realizes that undivided attention is received when tantrum is expressed. However, you realize that and started to ignore the child whenever time the child shows a tantrum. Over time, the child realized the elimination of special attention and decrease or eliminate her behavior or stop throwing tantrum, so to speak. So you ignore the child whenever time the child is acting up, and so that decreases the tantrum. Fixed interval and fixed ratio schedule. You may recall mentioned the dog received a reward after a successful attempt, 5 success. In fixed interval, it is similar. The exception is reinforcement is fixed by time lapse. With fixed ratio schedule, every 10 successful response every 10 minutes. For example, you play the lotto every 10 times you won, so you kept on playing. Token economy, just think of Chuck E. Cheese. Think of Chuck E. Cheese. I put a picture here with a guy running and won the race and he got money and so he was able to buy nice stuff. But where the kids are concerned, just think of Chuck E. Cheese. And you get an example. That's a perfect example in my mind for token economy. And flooding. Just think of you afraid of a snake or a worm, anything that crawls, and someone approach you with a snake, encouraging you to own the snake, and you are very, very, very afraid of the snake. That in itself is flooding, is an example of flooding. I put another example there, but that's in itself, which I just said is an example of flooding. Modeling, just think of someone who you admire, you want to become. So you befriended that person or you asked that person to mentor you. That is an example of modeling. You associate yourself with people who you want to become. In the process, you are being shaping it also, but in the process also is an example of modeling. Biofeedback. Just think of, one said, think of EKG machine. That could be an example of biofeedback. But I'll also put a picture here that a machine does read brain waves, heart rate, blood pressure, and stuff. That's an example of biofeedback. I hope you learned something from this posting and look forward to another posting of mine. And any question, please post and please subscribe to my page. Thank you. If you have anything that I can learn, please do not afraid to provide your input. Learning is gaining. Application is wisdom. Thank you. Have a great day. Behavioral therapy. In regards to reinforcement